Then came in 2014-15, the birth of Alluxi. I'd been working as an employee and decided I really couldn't stand working with other company owners, and I really wanted to bring my core skill set back to being my main job. So in 2015, I incorporated Alluxi Consulting. And with all of that, went through all of the pain and agony that all of you will be very well aware is quite costly, time-consuming, blood, sweat and tears, of defining your brand, getting your brand messaging, understanding what it is you're going to be selling yourself on. And sales and marketing has always been my biggest fear. So I actually got to know a guy called Barnaby Winter from the Brand Bucket Company, who helped me form my brand galvanizer, which defines how we behave, what we do, what we are, what my differentiating core is. And he's now actually become my mentor. So that was an extremely painful but really worthwhile exercise. And obviously had to invest in my first website. This is what it looked like in 2015, and a little bit more about that later. So that was how things got started. Then over the next few years, you have to start building up your business DNA. So building the Alluxi DNA, my first thing was into networking, which was clearly very hard work. This is me with Ryan Avery, an American speaker, more sort of networking events. And obviously over the last couple of years, we've had to resort to Zoom calls. This was either very early in the morning or last thing at night, because once again, I look completely exhausted. Following my networking journey, I recognized that it wasn't always the best forum to generate new leads. And with Barnaby's mentoring, I was developing an idea that I needed to get out there and promote myself as the productivity expert. And this is Ryan Avery's philosophy is you have to go from A to the. You're not a productivity expert, you're the productivity expert. And that's what this little diagram in the background was. That was his talk. So I started to get more into exhibiting. This again was probably a very early morning start. This was my first ever exhibition stand, which when I look at it now, I absolutely cringe at. Yes, that is me with the great sporting rugby player Mike Tyndall, who I was trying to flog tickets to my charity ball to at one exhibition. This is me with one of the Kent MPs, whose name completely fails me right now. And this is some of the networking buddies that I'd started to build up quite good relationships with, being complete maniacs, but at least it always made me smile. So as you can see, my stand started to improve a little bit as life went on. And that inevitably led into some speaking opportunities, which is always a good way to get your face out there. So I started putting together talks, keynote events, workshops. This was me telling the typical SME business owners how bad they were at managing businesses, which isn't the best way to develop relationships. Even dragged my kids into it. This was Ben speaking in a radio pod at one of the events. I think that was the year we were trying to push tickets for the charity ball that we did in 2017, which did raise £5,000 for breakthrough breast cancer. And I was able to put on a nice sparkly dress instead of having to run around in sloppy old running gear. And this was me with a couple of local Kent businesses when I was chair of the Relate charity, where we were often, and I would often speak on their behalf as well. And also managed to start getting into a few radio and TV appearances, and this is really good fun. And again, it was me promoting the idea that I am the expert in productivity, and the host would obviously prep you and get you all geared up to how the conversation was going to go. And I even managed to get onto the really infamous worldwide KMTV, which is Kent's internet TV, which was run at the time by this gentleman who looks like Clark Kent, but that's actually Chris Price, the local journalist for business at the Kent Messenger. He's now a journalist with the Telegraph, so he went on to bigger and better things as well. And during all of that, I picked up a few awards along the way. So in 2016, I was nominated for 2 categories at the Kent Independent Traders Award. I came runner-up in the Contributions to the Community Award, because of all the charity work and voluntary work that I was doing. But more importantly, I was the winner of the Professional Achievement Award, mainly down to me achieving fellowship of the Chartered Management Institute, which at the time I was only one of 374 women, I think it was, that had been awarded fellowship status. So I was really proud of that. But not least, it also added a hell of a lot of kudos and credibility to both myself and the brand when you're out there marketing, which, 5 years previously, I would have absolutely cringed at. But you really have to find your courage to really sort of talk about yourself when you're trying to build up a business that is all about you, and you are the only resource the business has to market on. So that was the early beginnings of Alluxi. Where am I now? Alluxi 2021, or Gen 2, not Gen 7. This is the homepage of my new website. So we've really cleaned things up, even allowed myself a little pop of colour. So we've gone with the Alluxi orange, whereas previously we just stuck to the grey, the blue and the white. And this is what I took the opportunity during COVID to really clean up and reflect is the word I'm looking for, reflect on the previous 5 years and look at what had gone well, what had not gone so well, what did I need to do to improve my whole product offering. And out of that, we really streamlined the whole client journey. When I talk about we, that was myself and my very trusted marketing strategist, Anwin Cooper from Get Fruitful Marketing. So the next sort of couple of slides, I'm going to explain what my product offering is. So the client journey starts with my business success scorecard, which is an online 10-minute or 15 minutes. Thanks to Steve Gold has had a go at this week. You can give us some feedback in private later, Steve. And it's 100 statements that the respondent just has to respond between 1 and 5, how they perceive they are doing on that statement in their business. And there are 10 separate categories that then we then score 10 key success areas in business, which gives you an overall rating. This is not Steve's, I hasten to add. So obviously what I'm trying to get the lead or the prospect to do is identify where is their current score, and anything that scores below 50%, I score a pink is profit growth potential. If you score up to about 85%, then there's clearly still opportunity to optimize. But if you do score over 85%, then that would indicate that, great, you're ready to evolve. You can move on and start to grow your business. These are not all the 10 categories. But that has been a revelation in getting leads on board and actually whetting their appetite to thinking, I could really need to do something different in my business. From there, I then offer, if the lead that has completed the scorecard wants to move forward, I offer a breakthrough session. That's a 60-minute one-to-one debrief of the scorecard, and we have an exploratory chat, and I then deliver some summary recommendations, obviously designed to whet the appetite further, to show these are the sort of things I would suggest you need to do, in the hope that we can then lead into what I call my test drive, the Launchpad workshop. And that is a much more in-depth half-day, one-to-one, we call it the deep dive, into those detailed operations to reveal a more panoramic view of where that business is, both technically and tactically. And from the tactical side, what I also offer at this stage is the engagement multiplier, which is an anonymous benchmarking survey. And the engagement multiplier tool is used to gauge and monitor staff's engagement with the overall business purpose. I'm a massive advocate of this tool, and I've been using it for the last 5 years. But it is one that after the benchmark survey, the client can then choose to subscribe to that, because it's a tool that they recommend you use every 90 days. So, companies that only choose to survey their people once every 1 or 2 years are not getting the best opportunity to start engaging and getting their people motivated to make things work better in the business. So my Launchpad workshop it serves two purposes. It also gives the client an opportunity to understand how I work, what my methodologies are, and how my personality is. Obviously, we all recognise we're not everybody's cup of tea. So that is a really good opportunity. It's a paid workshop. My fees for that start at around £750 for a half-day workshop, depending on the size of the client and how many people they want to include in the workshop. It can go up to anything to around £1,250. And from that workshop, I can then prepare a much more concise and considered proposal to the client, which would then point them toward which one of the Alluxi programs they might benefit most from in order to start tackling the initiatives or the recommendations that have come out of the workshop. So my programs, in terms of where I'm pointing towards, the entry-level program is what I call my Business DNA Open course. This is 6 sessions or 6 afternoon sessions or half-day sessions over 13 weeks, but it's on a group basis. So I might get 6, 8, 10 business owners from different companies coming onto that because they probably haven't got the size of business or they haven't got the funds to pay for one-to-one business consulting. So this is almost like, you know, the entry level, come into a group and we'll do it all together. But it does still apply the training to apply all the proven management theory that I've developed into practice, and gives them the complete Alluxi toolbox to develop their own business DNA and create their self-managing businesses. It still does contain a lot of the CMI recognised course from the leadership and management skills, but it is much more the technical, how to set up your systems, how your processes need to work, etc., etc. And that's priced around £1,500 per business. And I'm trying to start marketing that to do maybe 2 a year of those.
Linda, just a quick time check. We are kind of running out of time.
Sorry, I'm on my last 3 slides here. The second, my sweet spot, is the Escape Velocity program. That is the one-to-one support over 13 months. And I do get the client to commit to those 13 months. And that is designed to pull the business owner free from that gravitational pull of the day-to-day operations and achieve much greater versatility to get to their strategic orbit and get more time dedicated to the business growth rather than the day-to-day running of the business. And that starts at around £1,250 a month over 12 months. The larger program, which is me dedicated on site to the clients, maybe a day, day and a half, up to 2 days a week, is what I call my bespoke productivity evolution. And that is a real custom to solution. I might be there for up to 6 months, providing all the business productivity consulting to those business leaders that are ready to scale up to the next level of growth and profitability. I do still market my leadership and management development program, but I don't recommend offering it as a standalone product because that then goes against my whole systems and training for that behavioural change that I demonstrated in my first learning show. So that is, then we're starting to get into the 25, 30, £35,000 projects, but that is a real sort of wall-to-wall, me getting in there and helping them go through the whole productivity improvement program through to implementation. That's it. Thank you very much. That's the Linda Garcia and Alluxi show.